Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the House Academy Show, entertaining real estate investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about not killing your spouse while building a business together. What does that have to do with houses?
Wonder how this topic came apart during the coronavirus stay-at-home pleasant period.
Pleasant period?
I know. Don't you just love spending that quality time forced on house arrest with your family?
You know, when Jill and I started Land Academy, when like 2014, 15 in the planning stages, and then there was that time we got the first customer, and then the second customer, and then we're questioning ourselves all the way through because all the while we're doing really well buying and selling land on our own and spending half our time on this thing that doesn't make any money and nobody cares about, and really trying to convince people that it works. And they're like, yeah, no, it doesn't. Because if it worked at all, you'd have some type of constituency. Yeah, but customer, we just started, you know. So there's just almost minute by minute, and I talk about me more than Jill. I'm like, this isn't going to work, and it's stupid. Even if it does work, we don't need this. So that's how you get to know your spouse really well. And my final point is this. We went through all this, right? Jill and I actively were working together, but very separately buying and selling land. I was acquisitions and she was sales. And so the Land Academy companies now, the Buick companies, we work together a lot more.
Mm-hmm. It still happens. And we'll talk about it.
We've had 5 years to acclimate ourselves to each other. And I think we're just starting to actually relatively get along more than we don't get along. So I feel really bad. I'm not being satirical here.
I'm not being satirical. We've turned a corner. It's 51-49. Thanks a lot. I like you 51% of the time.
My point is, we can go on this show here. My point is that I truly feel for most people out there because this virus thing landed all in our laps. And Jill and I had a choice. Most people now don't have a choice. They have to work with their spouse, or they have to spend too much time with their spouse without any real rehearsal or practice or anything. And so I'm really serious. If you get a pile of bricks dumped on your head, you're not going to survive. If you get one brick dumped on your head at a time, you have a chance.
Oh my God. Where did you come up with that one?
I don't know, I just came up with it.
Okay. Wow. This is great. Oh, I can always count on you.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the houseacademy.com online community. It's free.
That's going to be my new saying. Was it one brick or was it several?
You know, I think people come to the live event and they're like, Steve, you're not the person that I see in my screen every day. You know, you seem agitated and angry and you're talking about real estate when I see you in person. And you're a lot shorter. They do. That's what they say. I'm not this happy person, you know. I mean, when we're doing real estate deals, I'm not smiling and laughing and saying bricks on your head.
Yep. Am I pretty the same? I think I am the same. Yeah. What you see here is what you see.
You're very much
what you
the
see
same
is what you get
in life, actually.
Thank you.
How you are on the show. Seriously.
Yeah, because if I have a poopy day, like a little bit yesterday, you'll know I'm having a poopy day. It'll come out. All right. Denver wrote, good afternoon. I work with my husband. We are both professionals now working at home.
This is perfect.
With more time to do land deals. He has issues. Oh, Denver, I feel your pain. One of the reasons I joined. He has issues. Oh, don't they all? I'm just kidding. One of the reasons we joined your group is that you two are similar to us as a working team. Any advice would do wonders. I hope. Is this legit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this legit?
Is this like?
This is legit.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering. Like, this is like it could have been crafted.
One of the reasons, the inspiration for the show title.
Ah, okay. So, and when was this written? Do you know? Was it just recently?
Recently. I only take questions from the last 7 days.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, we're going to talk about it in the meat of the show. So, yeah, I have some advice.
Oh, okay. Today's topic: not killing your spouse while you're building a business together. This is the meat. This is why you're listening on the House Academy show.
So, Denver, I feel ya. And it is hard. I too remember when we didn't work together and then we did work together. And it was interesting because there were times that we were working remotely. Like maybe we took a trip. There was one time in particular that we took a trip here to California before we lived here. We packed up our computers and we came for 30 days. And you were working on House Academy and stuff. It was really just dreaming it up back then. So it might have been 2013 or so. And 14, and I worked for a different company. So I would get up in the morning, be on the computer at 7 a.m. I remember that 7:30 a.m. I was on the computer.
I stopped listening a while ago because I work with you.
This is part of how he does this, how he manages his sanity. Tune me out. Thanks a lot. My point is, so we were working in the same residence basically, but we weren't working together. So there's a couple different dynamics. And we did that well. Like I remember I would get up, I'd get on the computer, I would break I'd take a break like at 10ish, and I would make us both breakfast. And I'd give you breakfast. So you were in the dining room, and I was back in the home. There was an office off the kitchen. I was in there working. You know what I'm talking about?
I do completely.
Okay.
I can still see it.
And then we'd have lunch kind of together. I'd take a lunch break, make us a sandwich, and then we had a thing wheels up at 4:00. And then I would have it all ready where by the time I was done with my job, I would quickly log off, and we would jump up our bikes and go have some fun. And we had that down. So, and I know some people, that's probably what a lot of people are doing right now. Their spouse has one job, one spouse has one job, one spouse has the other job. They don't really necessarily work together, but they're in the same space now. And that can be hard to get used to also. You're bumping into each other in the kitchen. You're used to having your alone time. You're not used to sharing the shower at the same time. You're used to them leaving the house at 6 a.m. because there's a commute. And now you had your space until you had to leave at 7 or 7:30 because your commute was shorter. And now everybody's like, oh. And now you're stuck at home and you're figuring out office space and all that. That's hard. And I understand that. You sound like you want to share?
No.
Oh.
No, it's the Jill Show.
Oh. So that's one.
You want me to share?
I do.
That's a trick. Do you want to share?
Well, it's funny. You take a breath. Look at.
This is exactly
you're spending too much time together when you're like, you took a breath. Were you going to say something?
He's breathing again. Why are you breathing like that?
All right. That component is difficult. And I understand the component we're even talking about is what we do, which is imagine that times 10, where not only are you in the same space, in the same office, but working for the same company, and it can be very difficult. So I have 3 things. These are my Jill things, and I know you're going to have your own Jack things to share.
Jill things.
These are my Jill things. This is how I don't kill him. Number 1.
I didn't come prepared for this.
Oh, this is good.
I can come up with it.
Okay, good. Oh, I did. Because I think about this every day.
All right, I'm making my list.
Here we go. Number 1, for me, patience. Oh, wow. You better have a lot of patience. No, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I need to make sure I normally have a lot of patience, but right now, especially with our kids at home too, and, not being able to get out and see my friends like I want to, and go to lunch and have fun and just go shopping or whatever I like to do, I got to have a lot of patience. Number 2, boundaries. So, and here's what I do. We are fortunate enough to have our offices in different rooms. And a lot of people can do that. I'd make a room. I'd say, you know what, everybody, our bedroom is my home office. And when you see this sign on the door or between the hours of, 8 and 4, please don't come in.
That's really good advice, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
So,
boundaries.
Yeah. Because I need my space. I'm setting up, I'm working, I'm in my zone. I can't be interrupted because you need to brush your teeth, and now you need to get your sweater, and now you need to do, or now you just want to bug me and talk because you have time. That's not fair. You've got to set boundaries. And we do it with our kid, by the way, too. When he's in we realize him in his bedroom does not work. That spells sleep and spells disaster. So we set him up in his own office, a virtual office, basically. And we can close the door and let him have his space. And we try not to interrupt him, except at lunchtime or, that's kind of it. Because I'm making a sandwich, I might as well make another one. That's it. And then the third thing, my third tip for you to not kill your spouse or any family member is, and we talk about this a lot. We talked about this today. Only do what you want to do for you, not because you feel like you're going to get it back. For example, I'm making a sandwich. I'm going to make one sandwich or I'm going to make 3 sandwiches. Don't make 3 sandwiches because you think those other 2 people are going to make you sandwiches the next 2 days. Nope, they're not. And you can't go into it like that. You need to do it because you feel like it. You see them working hard. You just want to do something nice. It feels good to you, or just it flat out feels good to you. Like, it feels, and that's how I roll normally. Like, most of what I do is because it feels good to me. People look at me like, why are you doing that? I'm like, you know what? I don't want anything back from this. It just feels good to me. I just like to
You just eliminated half the people in any relationship. Forget about working together. You just eliminated more than half.
Why?
That's just, trust me, every guy out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. There are the vast majority of people I've ever met forget about sex, male, female, gender, I should say. There's a scorecard.
Oh, you cannot have a scorecard. Or you'll lose your sanity. You'll be mad. You'll be mad all the time if you do a scorecard.
And I know you're not like that, and neither am I.
Thank you. We even do it. Like, we have a thing like, making the bed, squeegeeing the shower. We don't have a scorecard.
It's called common courtesy.
Right. You can't. And if you walk around going, I did it 4 days this week, because I've gotten this. If you slip sometimes, you find yourself saying, I made the bed 4 flipping days this week.
It's only some type of spat where you start pulling out stats from even 5 years ago.
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes you could find yourself saying, I'm going to see if on day 5 they figure it out. No, they think that this is now the thing, that you're the person that's responsible for making the bed.
I don't have those issues with you. I've had them in past relationships where there's just a scorecard and you don't know about it.
Oh,
you're like, it's not like it's on the refrigerator and there's a line in the middle of the sheet and it's like 6 for her and 2 for you. Because if that was the case, that'd be easy. I could work with that.
Yeah.
Or just eliminate it altogether.
Right. So what's your list?
I have a list of things that are going to make this bearable and possible. And this is a list. I did it while you were talking because I can half listen to you.
That would be patience.
This is
Remember, I'm gonna refer to these this whole week. Patience, boundaries, and do it for you.
It sounds like a Boy Scout motto.
Motto. Patience,
Always
boundaries, do it for you.
Common courtesy. Anyway. Cheerful, thrifty, brave, something like that.
I don't know.
This is advice or comments from me to anybody who's in a relationship. It's not just working together. You have to have a common goal. Jill and I, without ever discussing it, ever have a common goal. How she goes about it and how I go about it are dramatically different, in my opinion, which is what causes a lot of the conflict. But in the end, and I've used this to just stop it all, stop the conflict, is look, we have the same goal here. You're going about it from an inspirational standpoint. I'm going about it from an informational standpoint. How about you handle this part of the deal? I handle this part of the deal. If there's any issues, we let each other know, usually not verbally, in the form of software like Skype or a CRM or email even.
Yeah.
And we just call it that. So it would be, this is advice now. If you and your spouse or you and your business partner have the very, very similar talents and go about things very similarly, that's a recipe for disaster. I don't like the sales part of this. I love the acquisition part and the data part and all the computer parts of it. I have a tremendous, amazing amount of patience for computer problems and data issues and working things through like that, which is why we have a bunch of websites that generate money and help people do real estate deals. If Joe were, and I'm not throwing you under the bus here, but if you were responsible for creating and managing ParcelFact, I don't think that would have ever happened. I know it wouldn't happen. It's just not what but I'll tell you this. Yeah. If I was left alone to do all the sales and and managing the staff and keeping them motivated, it wouldn't have happened.
Thanks.
So we have separate stuff. That's huge.
That's good.
Number 2, and I've said this on the show for years, very sporadically. The reason that Jill and I do really well together as spouses, not so much working together, is that we don't talk about a lot of stuff seriously. You know, I've known Jill for 11 years now. I've never had a super serious political conversation with her ever. So this virus thing comes up now, and there's a lot of heads on the TV talking and telling us stuff. And so it's forcing us to well, what, you know, have a household conversation like, hey, who's going to go to the grocery store? Are we supposed to wear a mask? You know, should we buy wipes? All of that. And so it leads to, well, no, we shouldn't buy wipes. This is stupid. And I say, you know what? I think that too. So it leads to this stuff. So this is the most serious we've ever talked about. And so it leads to other like political stuff, which I'm not going to get into in here at all. Turns out we have a very similar opinions on our own about that really, really helps. And then don't talk about it.
That's true. It has brought up a few things where like, I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know you felt that way. And we're on the same page.
So if it was, you know, and we have a lot of friends who their votes cancel each other out entirely.
Yeah.
All the time. So I feel lucky about that, Jill. And it's not something I planned. It was just an extra benefit.
Thank you. Do you have another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to read my own writing. I already covered it. Separate roles.
Okay.
And same goal.
I got to ask. I have a question for listeners here. How many of you are Skyping and emailing when you're like you're either like on separate sides of the living room or you're one room away? We've been doing that for our whole
years.
Everything. That's all. And I used to think, I remember going, what the heck is this? That was always your way of communicating. Like I could see you. I could lean out and see you and say, hey, but you're like Skype me.
Why?
And it was not bad advice. Yeah.
It's very, very hard to be emotional when you're writing instead of talking.
Right.
And if the cleaner that you write without adjectives and adverbs, like I am hungry, actually it doesn't matter. The less adverbs and adjectives that there are, the more there's just keep the emotion out of it. Emotion's going to wreck everything. It's if you are emotional or your partner's over emotional constantly, that's just, you know, and you know why? It doesn't matter.
I know.
If you look back in your worst moment together, look back 2 weeks from that event, the time of that event, I guarantee everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about? We got in an argument. That's the way it should be.
Oh, meaning because it was on Skype?
Because it was just, it was just an argument. Like, it's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter.
You know, the fact that you were supposed to go to the grocery store and you forgot.
Right.
Shouldn't be the cause of, World War III.
I agree.
And you're very good about that. Just cut everybody some slack, especially right now.
That's what
it's really easy for us to sit here and say this stuff.
Dude, we're on the same page. I was going to say the same thing. I didn't know you were leading to that last statement. I was going to say the bottom line is everybody should give each other a pass, like a lot of passes right now, because we're all a little bit out of sorts and not in our usual normal frame of minds because of this dumb virus. But it will pass.
The other thing about you and I,
and you guys will still be here. We'll still be here.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing that I really think you and I are very good at, and I don't see a lot of people who are the same, is having conflict, addressing it very quickly, handling it, and then ending it.
Oh.
Like if you and I get into anything, whether it's deal related, it's almost always deal related or work related. It's never really social.
Yeah.
There's conflict, and I don't know, it lasts maybe 10 minutes. And then it's like, all right, we're done with it. And now let's go have a drink.
Right.
And then everything's fine. So Jill's very good at compartmentalizing stuff. And I know that's hard for a lot of people.
Thanks. Thank you. Happy you could join us today. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we're right here on the House Academy Show. Well, this was not a house-related topic at all, but it was very important.
We could make it. We could talk about house deal really fast here if you want.
Nah.
Okay.
That's what Thursday's for.
Nah.
Yeah. And by the way, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called Real-Time Info on Where to Invest During These Virus Times. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. You know what? It's supposed to be all about real estate. It's supposed to be about buying and selling houses and buying and selling land. Buying and selling a house or a piece of real estate is easy. It's all the other stuff that we talk about on these shows. It'll sink the ship.
Like working with your spouse.
Yep.
That could sink the ship. Man,
Or
you know.
finding the right source of data.
Well, you're not on the same page about a deal. You're
Yeah.
not on the same page about a business. That'll sink the ship.
That's it. That's why we talk about this stuff. It's not just about the actual finding the data, getting the mail out, buying a property, and then shoving it off to your partner so she can sell it.
Exactly. The House Academy Show remains commercial free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.